Amazon Web Services has announced a partnership with Apple, allowing EC2 instances that are going to run Apple's macOS operating system. That should enable new workflows for developers. It's something no other cloud provider is offering. I talked to Amazon's head of cloud, Andy Jassy, CEO of AWS. It is the #1 cloud provider in the world in terms of market share, also Amazon's most profitable division. Aside from that partnership, we discussed Apple's push deeper into making its own chips and the entire semiconductor sector, including NVIDIA's purchase of ARM, the relationship between NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and AWS. AWS, remember, makes its own server chips as well. Here's what Andy Jassy told me.
Building a chip is not for the faint of heart. It's hard to do, and it's really expensive. There are a lot of upfront costs that you may or may not get back. It really depends on how successful you are in building that chip and the performance of it. So there are relatively few companies that are going to have the economics where it makes sense for them to build chips. But there are enough of them that I expect that you'll see a lot of different chips over time, which I think is great for customers, because I think that if you go back 10 years, there was really kind of one CPU chip provider and one GPU chip provider who were primarily providing all the chips. And, while we all had partnerships with them and we worked collaboratively with them, the cycles were just longer. People had to wait 2-3 years to get new instances and new compute platforms from them. And if you just look at what's changed, even in the last 18 months, just think about what we talked about with respect to the Graviton 2 chips and the inference chips. People and customers are now getting brand new instances and capabilities every few months instead of every few years. And that will really change what's possible for customers. It's very good for them for there to be more providers.
Speaking of, the graphics heavyweight that you mentioned was NVIDIA. NVIDIA poised to purchase ARM. Are you comfortable with that, given the work that Amazon AWS has done on chips?
We're optimistic that NVIDIA will continue on the path that ARM's been on. I think the reason that ARM has been so successful, first in the mobile space, and now increasingly in the x86 space and the server space, is that it's been open and they have allowed people to kind of build new chips, very cost effectively and create, really a very fast cycle of innovation. And so we're very optimistic that that will continue to be the case. We believe it's an incredible opportunity for everybody in the community. And, we have a strong partnership with NVIDIA and we'll continue to evolve that.
And what's the relationship with Intel now? Are you able to work on things together?
Absolutely. We have a very strong relationship with Intel and with AMD. And we're continuing to collaborate across all of their new generations of processors they're building. And I think you may see some surprises, too, in what we build together and what we announce together in the coming weeks. Surprises in what they build and announce together. Carl, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more chip news, collaborations between, Amazon, AWS, the likes of Intel, and maybe others.
I was just thinking, John, it's probably the nicest thing someone has said about Intel on our air in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, Deirdre, it's...
Ouch.
Intel's been having some trouble when it comes to getting their next generation of chips out, but you really can't sleep on them. This NVIDIA ARM thing, though, also interesting. He said he's optimistic that NVIDIA is going to be a good steward of ARM. He didn't say, probably shouldn't parse words too much. Didn't say confident, but I did press him a little bit more on that and what he wants to see. It is an important issue, Deirdre.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.